hey, thanks for having us today. Super excited to just hear more about Call to Freedom, kind of what your role is. So yeah, if you just give us like a brief background of like who you are, what do you do here to Call to Freedom, and so yeah.
Yeah, well, my name is Cassidy Peters. I'm the Director of Development at Call to Freedom. So what I do is I work to implement just our planned giving campaign. And I work with individuals, small organizations, big corporate donors, just to really develop their annual giving or their planned giving. And then I also execute our grant writing program. So the development, we're a new organization, so we're really still just in developing that. My role was new, and so we're really kind of taking off on that development side, and really getting out into the community has helped that a lot.
And when you say you're a new organization, like give us a brief background of like what is Call to Freedom and when did it start and how did it start? What need came about that like you guys said like, hey, something has to be done here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Becky Rasmussen is our executive director and founder. So back in 2015, she felt this calling to get involved in human trafficking. And actually that same year, then she went out to Sturgis to the motorcycle rally. And while she was there, she had an encounter with a young girl named Marissa, and she seemed scared. She seemed, desperate. And at the time, she didn't know what that really meant. Well, later she came to find out that she was involved in human trafficking. She was a victim. And so Becky, came back, and she felt that she was being led to start Call to Freedom. And so that was really where our beginning was. And then in 2016, is when we officially started, and have just begun to grow since then. We started with her as our founder, and now we're at 23 staff members. And that's on, the services side and our admin side. So we're really growing quite a bit. And what Call to Freedom does is we provide the supportive services for victims of human trafficking and sexual exploitation. So we, provide anything. We create that strong network and provide anything from mental health counseling to transportation to safe housing. We just cover anything that they could need, because they're coming out of a situation where, they didn't have anything.
Right. So it's, for you and I and for us, for the majority of us, we take it for granted. Like you were saying, like, how do I get around? How do I get a job? Things like that, because of the unfortunate things that have been going on.
Yes.
Do you, like in the past little while, obviously as everything evolves, and it's a great thing that you guys have grown, but it's also kind of a crappy thing, right? Because we would hope that we wouldn't have to grow, because this wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
But we also understand there's good and evil in the world. We need good people like you and Call to Freedom. So how have you guys seen an increase, or what type of increase have you guys seen on that level?
Well, we've definitely seen an increase every year since we have really begun. For instance, in 2020, we saw a 150% overall increase in referrals. 2021 was a 220% increase. And this year we're on track for that same increase. So we're seeing the increase, and where that is stemming from is, yes, it's heartbreaking to see that there are more victims coming forward, but we're also, the other side of Call to Freedom is we're educating communities and schools. And a lot of that stems from that these victims are understanding what they're going through, and they might have been under the radar, not understanding what their situation was for a long time. So, and especially youth, we're seeing a huge jump in youth referrals too. Last year we saw 18 total youth in 2021, and as of mid-April this year we've already seen 19. So we're definitely seeing an increase in youth, and again, that stems from that education piece within our school systems.
When you say youth, I mean, is it like 5 to 10? Is it 12? Is there roughly an age thing with the youth?
So we do, generally it's from 12 to 18. We do see some that are the average age of youth that enter into human trafficking is 11 to 14. So we do have that, we see youth that are even younger, 11 years old, that are being entered into this situation at just a super, super young age.
And with the networks and relationships that the Call to Freedom and you guys have built, like what's give us a success story of of an average success story type of thing. Like, yeah, this is why we do what we do, and this is what we believe in. Because I'm sure some days get long, but then you have these success stories that.
Yeah, no, that's great question. That's what we love too, is being able to look back and see our the people that have came to us that have been victimized, but they come out stronger. And one example of that is a 15-year-old girl that came to see us, and she actually came forward to her school resource officer about the situation she was in. And then state agencies were able to put her into a residential home that had the treatment that she needed. And during that Call to Freedom she had a case manager and also an occupational therapist that was visiting her bi-weekly. And we were also able to be with her through just assisting her in anything that she needed. And so she actually, went through all of her treatment, and eventually she was looked at by others in her treatment facility and her residential facility as a mentor, which made her very proud, and as it should be, because someone that has gone through something so horrific, to be able to come out stronger. And now she's back in school, in public school, and she's working and she's doing great. So those are the kind of things that it's horrible what they've been through, but to be able to see the amazing thing that they've been able to triumph and see them succeed in life.
So how can we help Call to Freedom? Is there the website? I know you can find it on our website, ntnutri.com, under our who we support. Mm-hmm. You can go there and find it. Is there other ways?
So, we like to say there's so many ways that you can give or be involved volunteering. There's so many ways that you can volunteer. We like to say, however you feel led to do that. Like I said, we have many different volunteering ways you can get involved, whether that's grocery shopping. We have mentors. We have just many different avenues. And then we've had a lot of instances where some people have come to us and they have a certain talent, and we've been able to utilize that. And also, with giving too, we just, however you feel led to do that, we have different ways you can do that. On our website, calldtofreedom.org, is where a lot of that information is, and you can find, and if not, you can reach out to me too. My information's on the website. So,
as we're sitting here talking about just the victims and so forth, a friend of mine, reminds me of a story, a friend of mine is just amazing at remembering names. So I asked him, I'm going to say, hey, Jim, how do you remember everybody's names? And he said, I just picture them with a sign on their head that says, I want to feel important to one person today. Yeah. So we just want to say thank you to Call to Freedom. Thank you to you for making that person feel important and loved, and that they're not in this fight alone. Mm-hmm. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Well, thank you for you guys too, for your support. That makes a world of difference. The support that we receive from you guys and others in the community. I mean, the more we can get our information out there, and if one victim might come across this and see that what we do, and their lives could be changed. So you guys are making a big difference. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Joel.